we're back.
Sorry guys.
This is our first time doing a box opening, so bear with us. We're trying to keep it somewhat relatively short.
Blend the camera.
We got Defiant Strike, Crippling Chill, which is pretty nice and sealed events.
Another reprint, I believe.
Yes, it is. As it taps a target, it pretty much sleeps a single creature and then you draw a card, so cantrips are always nice at instant speed. Debilitating Injury, 2 mana, enchanted creature gets -2/-2, that's really nice because all the morph creatures, for 2 mana you just kill any morph creature if they can't unmorph it. Efreet Weapon Master, Siegecraft, Thornwood Falls, the Simic Refuge, Jeskai Wind Scout, pretty decent for a 3 mana flyer, 2/1 with prowess. Abzan Banner, Tormenting Voice. Uncommons are Dragon Grip, 3 mana. If you have Ferocious, which is a creature with power 4 or greater, you can cast this as though it had Flash, and enchanted creature gets +2/+0 on first strike, so it's a nice little combat surprise at times. And then we got Roar of Challenge, 3 mana, all creatures able to block target creature this turn do so. Target creature gains indestructible until end of turn if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, so that's a nice way to just alpha swing in. You have this one, like, 1/1 creature that you just have sitting there, you just make them all block him, and then all of your other creatures get to just swing on through. Then we got Secret Plans. Blue and a green enchantment. Face down creatures you control get +0/+1, and whenever a permanent you control is turned face up, draw a card. That's pretty nice for if you're doing in sealed, if you're doing a lot of morph creatures, because they'll come in as 0/3 or 2/3s, so they'll be able to trade with other morph creatures better, and it'll be card advantage if you're able to flip them over. And the rare is Bloodsoaked Champion. Alrighty. This guy's pretty nice and sealed because he's a grave crawler. He's pretty much always going to be coming back to the battlefield. 1 mana, 2/1. He can't block, but he is a warrior, so all those warrior travels help. But he's a raid effect where when you can pay a black and a colorless to return him from your graveyard to the battlefield if you attack with a creature this turn. So he's the new grave crawler, so he'll be a thing definitely in standard, I feel like, and he's pretty nice and sealed. Alright, and then the last card is a Monastery Swift Spear, 1 red, haste prowess for 1/2. I feel like that's pretty good aggro type card. Get him out early, start swinging away immediately, and just slowly gets bigger with the prowess of the trigger. Next pack we got Salt Road Patrol, Skulltikin, Dragon Scale Boon, which is pretty nice. Combat surprise. Give a creature +2/+2 counters and untap it. Molding Snakeskin, 1 mana. General creature is +2/+0 and 3 mana regenerate. Was not a huge fan of this card. I feel like the mana cost is a little high for what it does. Its ability cost is a little high. Bring Low, nice card. Snowhorn Rider, pretty nice and sealed. Play it morph down, then unmorph it for 5 and swing with it for a 5/5 trample for just 5 mana. Siegecraft, Temur Banner, another mana rock. Singing Bell Strike, this is pretty nice and sealed. I could potentially see it maybe some play in standard, but I'm not too sure if a deck would be able to work with it. Just enters the battlefield, tap enchanted creature. Enchanted creature doesn't untap during its controls untap step, but the owner can pay 6 mana to untap the creature. So it's a nice control ability that for a while the creature won't be able to untap. Bloodfire Mentor, nice way to cycle and a nice decent sized body to block with. Kintree Invocation, green and black, put a XX black and green spirit warrior creature token onto the battlefield where X is the greatest toughness among creatures you control. So that's a pretty nice easy way to get a really nice big creature out for pretty low cost. That's pretty nice and sealed if you have high toughness creatures like Sultai usually does. Mystic Monastery, the Jeskai Tri-Land. Another Sultai Soothsayer. And Ashcloud Phoenix, the red mythic. This guy's pretty nice. It's not super great, but it will be able to. You'll be able to keep recurring it for just no cost to you at all. You just play it originally down 4 mana. Next turn you can swing with it, or if it dies, it comes back to the battlefield face down. Then once you have 6 mana, you can unmorph it. And every time you unmorph it, it deals 2 damage to each player. So it's kind of like a small grenade whenever it dies and comes back and everything.
It's kind of dope.
Yeah, it's a pretty neat artwork too.
It's a bird.
It's a phoenix. Not just any bird.
It's a bird. Same thing.
But phoenix, it's a fiery bird. Right?
Come on.
Next pack we got Trumpet Blast. This is a really nice combat trick. 3 mana, attacking creatures you control get +2/+0 and end it until end of turn and instant. Just keep in mind that it's only attacking creatures, so you want to do that after you declare attackers and everything, not before, because otherwise it does nothing. I almost had a mistake. Anok Bondkin. This guy's pretty sweet and sealed. 2 mana, 2/1 with Outlast for 2. Each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it has first strike. So he just makes all of your creatures that much harder to get rid of in combat-wise, via combat. And if he's paired up with another creature that has Outlast, but it's black, where it gives each creature with a +1/+1 counter on it Death Strike, or Death Touch. So those two paired up, your creatures will never die from combat almost. Another Whirlwind Adept. Mardu Warshrieker. This guy's pretty nice. He's pretty much like similar to Burning Tree Emissary, only he doesn't pay for his full cost, but he does help you fix your mana colors if you need to. So he's pretty sweet with that raid effect.
Word.
Martyr Skull Hunter. This guy's pretty nice with his raid effect. 2 mana, 2/1. Enters the battlefield tapped. But if you attack the creature the turn you play them, when he enters the battlefield, you make target opponent discard a card. And he's also a warrior, so that also helps with all the warrior tribal again. Feed the Clan, nothing too special there. Rotting Mastodon. Savage Punch, the bear punch card. Target creature you control fights target creature you don't control, and Ferocious gets +2/+2 turn to turn. So that's a pretty nice removal for green, because most of the time you'll be able to have Ferocious triggered, so your creature will get +2/+2, potentially to save it, and then hopefully you're doing this to clear the way so that the creature that you just buffed can then swing in as well. So it's a nice combat trick as well.
This is dope artwork.
Yeah, it is. Scout the Borders. Decent. Lens of Clarity. First uncommon is Brave the Sands. 2 mana. Creatures you control have Vigilance, and each creature you control can block an additional creature. It's pretty nice. It's really nice for Outlast, because then you can swing in without tapping creatures. Then you can pay at the Outlast cost after combat, and you can just makes blocking a lot easier. And here's the guy I was talking about before with the Death Touch. Pair him up with the Bondkin, and all your creatures that have +1/+1 counters on it get Death Touch and First Strike. So it's a pretty sweet combo there. Set Adrift. 6 mana sorcery with Delve. Put target non-land permanent on top of its owner's library. It seems alright, but it's nothing too special about it for its mana cost. Utter End. This card's pretty nice, and both sealed and standard I feel. And also EDH since it exiles, but 4 mana, black, white, and 2 to just straight up exile target non-land permanent at instant speed. So that includes all those planeswalkers and everything, so I feel like this card will definitely see some play. And then Advertisement. Next pack. Alright, we got Bloodfire Expert, another Smite the Monstrous, Glacial Stalker, Canyon Lurkers, Alpine Grizzly, another Sultai Scavenger, Hooting Mandrills, Rite of the Serpent, Swiftwater Cliffs, Izzet Refuge, Throttle. This card's a pretty nice removal and sealed. 5 mana, instant speed, target reduces -4/-4 until end of turn. If it doesn't outright kill the creature, it'll allow one of your creatures to be able to finish off the other creature while also possibly surviving. Temur Charm. Choose one target creature you control gets +1/+1 until end of turn, and it fights target creature you don't control. Counter target spell unless its control pays 3, and creatures with power 3 or less can't block. So that's pretty sweet. It's got 2 nice combat tricks and then a counter spell. It's always handy to have. Horde Ambusher, 2 mana, 2/2. Whenever it blocks, it deals 1 damage to you. Morph, reveal a red card in your hand. When it is turned face up, target creature can't block this turn. I wasn't really a huge fan of this, just because of how the blocking deals 1 damage to you, because once you get to turn 4 or 5, he won't be able to swing in without dying, most likely. Tuskguard Captain, 3 mana, Outlast of 1 green for a 2/3, and each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it has trample. So that's pretty nice, especially if you're running Abzan. Give all your nice creatures that you're making big trample. Ghostfire Blade. 1 mana, crit creature gets +2/+2, a quick cost of 3, but if it's targeting a colorless creature, it's a quick cost 2 less. So if you're trying to equip it onto, say, a morph creature, which are very relevant in this set, the equip cost is only 1, so you'll give a morph creature +2/+2, and then when the creature unmorphs, it still has the equipment attached to it. So that's a nice little bonus to morph creatures.
Grody artwork. Ugh.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet looking.
Oh, it's getting the hand chopped. I don't want to think about that.
Yeah, ready? Next pack.
Cool little
Gonna
guy right there.
definitely try to speed things up a bit. So.
We can cut it again. We got nothing to do. Make good time.
Tygon Scheming. Barrage of Boulders. Sage Eye Harrier. Crippling Chill. Awaken the Bear. Molting Snakeskin. Dragon Scale Boon. Sidisi's Pet. Keru Dreadmaw. Longshot Squad. Another Mardu Heartpiercer. Again, nice 4 mana 2/3 body that you can drop down, and if you attack the creature this turn after you casted him, he deals 2 damage to target creature or player, so it's a pretty nice shock effect. Abzan Falconeer, out 3 mana for 2/3 Outlast, and it's one of the +1/+1 counter guys that each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it has flying, so that's nice, gives all of you guys evasion and everything. Heartpiercer Bow, 2 mana. Whenever crit creature attacks, it deals 1 damage to target creature defending player controls, with a quick cost of 1. This is an alright equipment. It's only really good if you have a Death Touch creature, so that then you can just attack and just start killing off any creature your opponent has. But without Death Touch, it's nothing special.
Put that in my hot soup deck.
Got a Flooded Strand for the rare. That's the Azorius, the blue-white fetch land, where you just pay life and sack it to search a library for a plains or island and put it on the battlefield. Pretty nice. Alrighty, next pack. Alright, got Swift Kick, which is it's a decent sealed card, but other than that, I don't see it being anywhere. 4 mana, target creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn and fights target creature you don't control. So it's a nice combat trick into prey upon, since it's instant speed. Sage Eye Harrier. Weave Fate, a nice reprint of Inspiration. 4 mana, draw 2 cards at instant speed. Archer's Parapet. Disowned Ancestor. Rugged Highlands, the Gruul Refuge. Kill Shot to start target attacking creature for 3 mana and no instant speed.
With cool artwork.
Yes. It's a pretty nice removal spell if you're running white. So if you're going against white in sealed events or drafts, beware of Kill Shot and Smite the Monstrous. They're both very relevant cards. Sultai Mana Rock. With some fruit there.
I thought that was a heart. Like, what?
Another Force Away. And the Boros Refuge, Windscarred Crag. Chief of the Scale. Other warrior creatures you control get +0/+1 till, and then it's a 2/3. So again, whoops, I accidentally hit the camera.
No, you're good.
And so yeah, again, it's another nice warrior tribal theme going on. Pine Walker, 5 mana for a 5/5, or you can unmorph it for 5 mana but 1 less green. And whenever him or another creature you control is turned face up, untap that creature. So it's a pretty decent card if you're running a lot of morphs, but it's only if you expect to be unmorphing cards after you get this guy out, pretty much. And then Frontier Biovac, the Temur Triland, and then Surak Dragonclaw, the Temur Khan leader. He's a pretty sweet card. He's 5 mana for a 6/6 with flash, and he can't be countered. And again, he's also a warrior. And also, once he's on the battlefield, creature spells you control can't be countered, and other creatures you control have trample. So he's a bomb in sealed. He's pretty nice in standard. I feel like, and he's also going to be seeing a lot of play, I feel like, in EDH with those color decks. Next pack. Alrighty. We got another Treasure Cruise, another Martyr Warshrieker, Erase, which is a nice sideboard in sealed decks, since it 1 mana instant exile target enchantment. Sagu Archer, good sideboard if you need a flying defense. Another Mardu Skull Hunter, Bloodfire Mentor, Scoured Barrens, the Orzhov Refuge, another Jeskai Student, Abzan Banner, Embodiment of Spring, and for uncommons we got Stubborn Denial, 1 mana instant counter target non-creature spell once its controller pays 1, but if you have Ferocious, it just flat out counters that spell. So this seems like a pretty strong counter spell, especially if you're running big creatures, because for 1 mana you just counter anything. Swarm of Bloodflies, 5 mana for a 0/0, but when it enters the battlefield, you put enters the battlefield with 2 1/1 +1/+1 counters on it, and whenever another creature dies, put a +1/+1 counter on it. So it's good if you have a lot of ways of either killing off other creatures or sacrificing your own creatures to make him big, but on his own he's not that special. So, but he's a nice flyer. Death Frenzy, 5 mana sorcery. All creatures get -2/-2 until end of turn, and whenever a creature dies this turn, you gain 1 life. So I feel like this is a pretty sweet card to just drop when someone has either a lot of morph creatures or a lot of small creatures, and it's a nice way to gain a lot of life too. And for the 3rd Ascendancy so far, Jeskai Ascendancy. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn and untap those creatures. And whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. I feel like this is a pretty sweet Ascendancy. You can swing in with all your creatures, then on their turn when they go to attack, you can cast a non-creature spell on top of all you guys, they get buffed, and then block, and it just allows you to cycle for card advantage and everything, so that's a pretty sweet card. Oh man, and then a bear token. Alrighty, well, we're getting there. Pretty good box so far, I feel. Alright, we got Disdainful Stroke, Canyon Lurkers, Savage Punch, another Bear Punch, Sidisi's Pet, Jeskai Wind Scout, Snowhorn Rider, Active Treason, another reprint. It's a very common reprint. Windscarred Crag, the Boros Refuge, another Kill Shot. Goblin Slide, this is a pretty nice uncommon for 3 mana. Enchantment, whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you may pay 1. If you do, you put a 1/1 red goblin creature token with haste onto the battlefield. So if you're running a deck like a Jeskai deck, anytime you cast an instant sorcery or anything, pretty much, besides creature, you get essentially free tokens that can just become chump blockers or eventually overrun the opponent. Got another Opulent Palace for another Sultai Tri-land. Got Mardu Rough Rider, 5 mana, 5/4. Whenever he attacks, target creature can't block this turn. So a nice way to get rid of annoying pesky blockers. And he himself is a warrior, so more of the warrior tribal stuff going on there. Ivory Tusk Fortress, the 5 mana Abzan creature, 5/7. So just for that amount of mana, that's a pretty good value of a creature. But he works very well with the other Abzan creatures, because untap each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it during each other player's untap step. So that's really nice with the Outlast mechanic. And then foil Awaken the Bear.
Bear! Speed one with the bear.
That's your job, Adam.
Tell me with the war in the middle.
And you're ready. Firehoof Cavalry. Monastery Flock. This is a pretty nice creature. Drop it down either turn 3 for a nice big surprise blocker for your opponents, because it's a defender with flying at 0/5. You might not see it coming. Leaping Master. Pretty nice, but I'm not a huge fan of him. 2 mana for a 2/1, then you can pay 3 to give him flying. Mardu Hateblade, 1 mana, 1/1. You can pay a black to give it Death Touch. he's pretty nice. Nice blocker, and also he's a warrior, so you can get buffed with the many tribal effects. Hooting Mandrills. Rite of the Serpent. Throttle. Another Ponyback Brigade. Scout the Borders. Jeskai Banner. And for the uncommons, you got Chief of the Edge. Other warrior creatures you control get +1/+0, and it's a 3/2. So, yet again, another one of the warrior tribals. So they're very relevant in this set, and pretty good. Become Immense. This is a pretty nice surprise bomb sort of effect if you're a Sultai, or if you're just green and you have a lot of mana, or just a lot of cards in your graveyard. Because a creature, instant speed, target creature gets +6/+6 on their turn with Delve. So it's a nice combat surprise always. And then Watcher of the Roost, 3 mana, flying. You can play it morph, and then to unmorph it, you reveal a white card in your hand. When he's turned face up, you gain 2 life. I'm not a huge fan of him because he's a kind of small body. He's not really a great blocker either for his mana cost. And then the rare is Master of Pearls. For 2 mana, you get a 2/2, or you can play it for 3 mana as a morph, and then unmorph it for 5, 2 white and 3 colorless. And whenever he's turned face up, creatures you control get +2/+2 till end of turn. So that's a nice little combat surprise that if you can sneak it in somewhere. Pretty good in sealed. Alright, got another Rush of Battle. Weave Fate. Trumpet Blast. Salt Road Patrol. Saguit Archer. Krumar Bondkin. Another Abzan Guide. Tusked Colossodon. The Azorius Refuge. Shambling Attendants. Got another Jeskai Charm. Always nice to get more of them. A Monastery Swiftspear. Again, nice little aggro creature. Witness of the Ages, a 6 mana, 4/4 artifact creature, golem, with a morph of 5. Not a huge fan of it, but it might have a place somewhere, but I doubt it. And then, Dragon Throne of Tarkir, 4 mana for artifact equipment. Equipped creature has Defender and 2 mana and tap. Other creatures you control gain trample and get +X/+X until end of turn, where X is this creature's power, with an equip cost of 3. So it's essentially like a Kratos Behemoth on a stick. It's a really nice effect, a really nice creature effect. So it's good in both EDH and sealed, maybe standard, but I'm not too sure about that last one, standard though. Alrighty. Next up. Valley Dasher. Erase. Tygon Scheming. Another Krumar Bondkin. Kin Tree Warden. Lens of Clarity. War Behemoth. Scoured Barrens. Embodiment of Spring. Act of Treason. Hordling Outburst. That's a pretty, for the first uncommon, it's pretty nice. 2 red and a colorless to put 3 1/1 red goblin creature tokens on the battlefield at sorcery speed. Really nice with Mardu, since they have the Butcher of the Horde card if you happen to pop him. Works really well in conjunction. Water Whirl, 6 mana, 2 blue and 4 colorless. Instant, return up to 2 target creatures to their owner's hand. The effect is pretty nice, but at that mana cost, I'm not too sure if it's that great in 1v1 sealed, but it might be for all I know. But other than that, I don't see it having much play value. Another Windstorm. And then Hardened Scales. 1 mana or 1 green for if one or more +1/+1 counters would be placed on a creature you control, that many +1/+1 counters are placed on it instead. Works really well with Outlast because you'll pay for the 1 ability for one counter, and then you end up getting 2 for the price of 1. So it's a really nice bonus with that. Alrighty, next pack.
Let's have to cut it after this one.
Alright, now this pack, last pack, we got Cancel, Swift Kick,
Okay, yeah.
Feed the Clan,
Tasty.
Debilitating Injury, another nice removal, Mystic of the Hidden Way, Summit Prowler, Sultai Banner, Alabaster Kieran. This is pretty nice and sealed since it's a 4 mana 2/3 flying vigilance. It has evasion and it can attack and block as well on the same turn. So it's always nice to pop. Thornwood Falls. Mardu Blazebringer, 3 mana, 4/4 Ogre Warrior. Whenever it attacks or blocks, sacrifice at the end of combat. I'm not a huge fan of it since it's only going to last one combat regardless if it attacks or blocks. So, yeah. Ruthless Ripper, 1 mana, 1 black for a 1/1 Death Touch, but you can play it as a morph creature for 3 mana, then unmorph it for just by revealing a black card in your hand, and whenever he's turned face up, target player loses 2 life, so it's a nice surprise blocker. You can like play it, morph down and be tapped out, someone swings in and block with it, you unmorph it for free pretty much, and kill a creature. And then Temur Charger, 2 mana, 1 green and a colorless, for a 3/1, and you can play it down as a morph for 3 and unmorph it by revealing a green card in your hand. And when he's turned face up, target creature gains trample till end of turn. So it's a decent surprise card, but I feel like it's not that great for an uncommon. And another End Hostilities. So that's another 5 mana board wipe. Sorry about that. There's the doorbell. Pretty nice. I feel like that's going to see a lot of play.
Hey, how's it going?
And we got Oil Treasure Cruise. So that's pretty sweet. And Forest and a Morph. And we'll be right back after we clean up some stuff a bit.
Hey, there were more packs, except I forgot to format the card, but now there's 6. So
yeah, we got 6 more packs we need to open, and also there's something happened with the previous recording, so just going to go over the past few packs that I opened of just the uncommons and rares just really quick, just to let you guys know what we got.
Rock and roll.
Blinding Spray, Armament Corpse, Despise, Howl the Horde, and then Ivory Tusk Fortress. That was the uncommons and rares of 1 pack. And then Mistfire Weaver, which 4 mana 3/1 flying, morph of 3 cost, unmorph of 3. When it's turned face up, target creature you control gains hexproof until end of turn. Seek the Horizon, Hair of the Wilds, 2 mana 2/2 Death Touch, ferocious. If you control a creature with power 4 or greater, when this guy attacks, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn. And then Polluted Delta for the rare. And then we got another Dragon Grip, Abstinent Charm, which I feel is is like the strongest charm currently. Which you can exile target creature with power 3 or greater, draw 2 cards and lose 2 life, or distribute 2 +1/+1 counters among 1 or 2 target creatures. So that's just really strong, I feel. Then we got Bear's Companion, 5 mana in Temur's colors, 2/2. When it enters the battlefield, you put a 4/4 green bear creature token onto the battlefield. And it's also a warrior, so warrior tribal effects affect him as well. And then the rare of this pack is Trap Essence. Again in Temur's colors. It's a counter spell where you counter target creature spell and you put 2 +1/+1 counters on up to 1 target creature. And land in a morph token. And then we got Sultai Flare, where whenever a creature you control with toughness 4 or greater dies, you gain 4 life, and it itself is a 4 mana 3/4, so it triggers itself. And then Quiet Contemplation, 3 mana enchantment. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you may pay 1. If you do, tap target creature an opponent controls, and it doesn't untap during its control's next untap step. It's pretty nice with Jeskai theme cards because you get to sleep a creature every turn now. And then another Raid of Spoils and a Bloodstained Mire for the rare of that pack. And then we got another Timely Hordemate, Gurmag Swiftwing, Suspension Field, which is a 2 mana enchantment where when it enters the battlefield you may exile a target creature with toughness 3 or greater until Suspension Field leaves the battlefield, so it's like an Oblivion Ring for 1 less mana, but you can only hit creatures with toughness 3 or greater. And then Windswept Heath is the rare in that pack. And then we got Venerable Lammasu, 7 mana 5/4 flying, where I don't really see why this card's an uncommon. I mean, it's a 5/4 flying, sure, but for 7 mana I feel like it shouldn't be an uncommon at all. And then we got Briber's Purse, again. Ride Down, where you 2 mana, destroy target blocking creature. Creatures that were blocked by that creature this combat gain trample until end of turn. So that's a pretty nice, like, small combat trick that someone might not see coming. And then we got Pearl-like Ancient for the rare in this pack. 7 mana, 6/7, with a creature with flash that can't be countered, has prowess, and you can return 3 land you control to your Return 3 lands you control to their owner's hands, and return Pearlic Ancient to its owner's hand. So it's a pretty nice creature that can good for versus like control decks, since it can't be countered and everything. And if it were to die, you can just bounce it back to your hand. And then there's Riverwheel Aerialists, which is a 6 mana 4/5 flying prowess. Seems decent. Take up arms, 5 mana instant, put 3 1/1 white warrior creature tokens onto the battlefield. Seems like a pretty decent card for like sealed, maybe standard, if there's nothing else better for token gen. But in EDH, I feel like there's a lot better cards that can produce tokens more efficiently than that. And then Nomad Outpost, Sage of the Inward Eye, the Jeskai 5 mana flying 3/4. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, creatures you control gain lifelink until end of turn. So it's a nice little like additional combat trick to whatever else you have up your sleeve to give all your creatures lifelink and gain a nice cushion of life from each combat. Then there's Master the Way, 5 mana sorcery, draw a card. Then it deals damage to target creature or player equal to the number of cards in your hand. So I don't really see this being that big in sealed or standard, but I see it being really big in EDH because, for example, you just get Into the Infinite, cast that, and then you just cast this and hit someone for like about 80 damage. That was given to us by our Chad or Captain Toaster. So that's a pretty neat combo with that. Then there's Bellowing Saddleroot, 4 mana 4/5, and Raid. When he enters the battlefield, you lose 4 life unless you attack with a creature this turn. So this guy's pretty nice. For just 4 mana, you get a 4/5 creature, so it's just pretty nice for aggro. And then another Dragon's Eyes Savants, and another Blood-Soaked Champion. So that was all the packs that happened when it wasn't recording for whatever reason. And now we'll get to finishing up all the last 6 packs of the box. There we got Tigum Scheming, Barrage of Boulders, Sage Eye Harrier, Crippling Chill, Smoke Teller, Disowned Ancestor, Keru Dreadmaw, Longshot Squad, Jungle Hollow, Unyielding Krumar, another Mirror Ek Nightblade, the guy that gives all the creatures +1/+1 count as Death Touch, another Horde Ambusher, and another Sultai Charm. Always happy to see those. And another Crackling Doom is our rare, and we got a Goblin in a Swamp. In this pack we got Wee Fate, Trumpet Blast, Hooting Mandrills, Disowned Ancestor, Windscarred Crag, Killshot, Temur Banner, Force Away, Bring Low, Rugged Highlands, and then uncommons we got Scion of Glaciers, another Secret Plans, and another Windstorm, and another Kratos Claws for the rare. And a Mountain and a Warrior token. This pack we got Whirlwind Adept, Mardu Warshrieker, another Savage Punch, Debilitating Injury, Efreet Weapon Master, Siegecraft, Thornwood Falls, Jeskai Windscale, Abzan Banner, Tormenting Voice, and then uncommons we got Chief of the Scale for more Warrior Tribal, Cranial Archive, 2 mana, then you can pay 2 and exile Cranial Archive. Target player shovels his or her graveyard into his or her library, and then you draw a card. So it's a nice cantrip and to refresh your library from your graveyard. Tomb of the Spear Dragon, tap to add a colorless mana to your mana pool, and you can pay 2 and tap it to gain 1 life for each colorless creature you control. So it's good for all the if you have a lot of morph creatures in play to gain a bunch of life. And then the rare is Siege Rhino, 4 mana for Abzan, Trample, 4/5. When it enters the battlefield, each opponent loses 3 life and you gain 3 life. So I feel like this card's really nice and sealed because it's a pretty big bomb. Because you're just from casting it, you're going to be doing a 6 life change on your opponent. And then in standard, I see it being able to get some play since it's a 4 mana 4/5, and again it has Trample and it drains opponent. And then just EDH, especially since it's multiplayer format usually. You'll be gaining more than just 3 life each turn when you cast them.
Not bad at all.
3 more packs to go.
Pack number 3.
We got Feat of Resistance, Cancel, Swift Kick, Rush of Battle, Awaken the Bear,
Awaken the Bear,
Dutiful Return, Unyielding Krumar, Highland Game, Tranquil Cove,
pretty.
Rakshasa Secret,
Rakshasa.
First uncommon in this is another Goblin Slide for more Goblin tokens.
More goblins.
A Mardu Charm, which this one's abilities are deals 4 damage to Tarkir creature. You put 2 1/1 White Warrior creature tokens onto the battlefield. They gain first strike until end of turn. Or target opponent reveals his or her hand. You choose a non-creature, non-land card from it. That player discards that card, so you get a Duress as well. That's a pretty nice one. Then we got Set Adrift again. Not a huge fan of this card, I don't think. And then we got Wooded Foothills for the rare, so that's the red-green fetch land. Alrighty.
Force the goblin token.
Alrighty. For this pack, we got Erase, Tigum Scheming, Trumpet Blast, Ionok Bondkin, Feed the Clan, Rotting Mastodon, Unyielding Krumar, Highland Game, Tranquil Cove, and then for the first one coming we got another Incremental Growth, which is pretty nice, Seeker of the Way, and then we got Warden of the Eye. For 5 mana, Jeskai, you get, when he enters the battlefield, return target non-creature, non-land card from your graveyard to your hand. So you get to just recur cards from your graveyard with this guy, and he's a 3/3 himself. And then the rare is another Mardu Ascendancy, so that's pretty nice. Oh, and then we got a foil See the Unwritten. 6 mana, sorcery, reveal the top 8 cards of your library. You may put a creature card from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest into your graveyard. So this is pretty good with just pretty much anything where you want to get big creatures out for cheaper than their cost, or if you just want to fill up your graveyard. And Ferocious, if you have power 4 or greater creature you control, you may put 2 creature cards onto the battlefield instead of 1, so it's pretty nice. For the last pack, we got Bloodfire Expert, Smite the Monstrous, Glacial Stalker, Canyon Lurkers, Kintree Warden, Rotting Mastodon, Abzan Guide, Unyielding Krumar, Tusked Colossadon, Tranquil Cove, and for the uncommons we got Abzan Battle Priest, 4 mana, 3/2 with Outlast for 1, and each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it has lifelink. So yeah, this is another nice guy if you have running a lot of creatures and spells that give your creatures +1/+1 counters. And then another High Spire Mantis, decent creature, and another Despise. And the rare is an Offenza the Foremost for the Abzan Khan. She's a 3 mana 4/4 legendary creature. Whenever she attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on another target tapped creature you control. If a creature would be put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. So yeah, so she's a pretty nice creature. She's pretty strong just in sealed and standard just because she's a 4/4 for 3 mana, and she's got a decent ability. In EDH I don't see her as being as strong as like some of the other Abzan color generals, but still pretty good, not bad. Alrighty, so that's the last of the packs from the box, and yeah, thanks for watching and hope to see you guys next time.
From the talk box.